Okay, everybody, I have this little blue Kenmore. It is a mini Ultrat, and it's a really nice sewing machine. I have a whole bunch of them to teach people with, but since this, COVID-19 makes everything harder for anybody to be able to get taught, then I decided I'm going to sell about two of them, maybe three. I don't know. I have to see what I'm going to do next. I don't know. Sure what I'm going to do. Anyway, so I'm going to go over this sewing machine with you. I know that's kind of bright, so let's take that off for a minute. There, it's not that's so much better. You can see it better. And over here is where the thread is at, and you always want to thread it from back behind itself, coming this way up to this little hook under there. And you always want to make sure your foot is in the highest position so you can get it inside your tension. So your tension's in one of these side knobs, and it hooks down inside there, comes up around. I mean, they do have arrows, but they're harder to see. And then you come up here and you loop it into that little metal loop right in there. Hooks into that, comes back down, comes over here. Yeah, I have the needle down again. And then you thread it through this little hook and then into the needle. Crazy me. I was sitting here playing. You can see all the really cool stitches I was doing. So we know this is our tension. Remember, you never move the tension when the needle is in the down position. So we're going to bring the needle in the highest position like that. So when you're moving your tension, okay, you want to make sure the needle's in the highest position before you move it, because if you don't, you're messing it all up and then it gets all knotted and crappy on the bottom. Anyway, let's keep going. This is a little table and you pull it out like this. This one comes with a few little things. They all have something a little different in them. This one's got needles and a bobbin, and there's a couple feet in there and a little plateau. Anyway, that's the accessories this one has. It even comes with a book, but I left the book on the other side of the room, so that's where I had displayed them at anyway. So then here we go. We put this back like this, and oh yeah, and this one's got a bottom feed in it. So we open this up, and it feeds from the bottom, then up, instead of from the top, then up. This one's feeding from the bottom, so we call that bottom feeder. Okay, now I'll slide that little guy back in there and prop this back down. I got this one pretty much working pretty good. I mean, they're getting older. They last quite a long time. I think it was back in the 1990s is when these were made. I remember because my daughter was a little girl and she kept saying, "That's a perfect one for me." When she got it, she couldn't run the darn thing. She kept threading it backwards. Don't even ask me what that means. Anyway, this has got a bobbin rewinder, so you put your bobbin on there. And then you take your thread from down here and you hook it around this way and into this spot. And then you click it and then you pull this out. I know how to do it. There you go. You pull this out. It keeps it from running down there. Runs the bobbin. Okay, until the bobbin's done. Then you need to push it back, and then this gets pushed back in like that. Okay? Now it's a little tough with one hand. Easier when you have more leverage with one hand down. This is your reverse button. See, I don't know if you can see it. Yep, you can see it reversing. That's your reverse. This is your buttonholes, which then is right here, because this is your indicator. It's going to indicate which way you want to go. These are all your numbered little stitches, but they're all up here on the knob. It's just kind of like a really cute display of them, and then up here is where it does it all. And anyway, let's proceed on to turning it back on. So the turn on button is way around here to this little knob right there, and we turn it on, okay? All right, then you come over here. I know it's hard to see with that really bright light. That's one thing about these little mini things. They have really bright lights. Okay, we're gonna hear this one. It's kind of a little rough, when they sit around, they don't do much. They do get kind of rough sounding, and then they get back to feeling better after a bit. Anyway, here we go. And there we go, and we turn it this way. I did a buttonhole, see, I did a buttonhole and all that, and turn it this way. And then you could always put the needle down to turn if you want. I mean, it's up to you. And we go back this way. And then up here I show you. And then you see where I backed up. And then when I did the buttonholer, and then this is where I turned and everything. But it's sewing properly. And yes, I am selling this sewing machine. I sold several of these already, and people just fall in love with them. They just love them. They're not just for children, they're for adults, especially beginners or people that don't want to put too much time in them. They only weigh 4 pounds. It's really nice when people don't have to lift those 50-pounders anymore. And it's a great one to graduate to, so in case you're getting tired of lugging around the heavy one, you can carry this one on like vacation, on small trips, or anything like that. So it's kind of nice to have a smaller version of a sewing machine. It acts like a large version of a sewing machine. It sews all kinds of stuff. It'll sew denim. It'll sew lightweight wet leather or leatherette. It'll sew cottons, knits, all kinds of really cool stuff. It's got all kinds of stitches and it can do all that. Anyway, but I got this one for sale and another one just like it in the other room for sale. Got them up and running. If you're interested, I'll put a link in there where you can kind of contact me. I really don't really like to ship them. I prefer that people pick them up. I know I kind of live in North Carolina. If you live in North Carolina, it's not a big deal to drive over this way. Anyway, have a blessed day and keep following me, and hopefully I can show you something else that might be interesting. Have a blessed day. Thanks.